Welcome to the Encouragement for Real Life podcast. I'm Julie Lefebvre, your host. Life is remarkable, sometimes raw, and always real. And some days we could use a little extra encouragement for our real lives. Here you'll find that, along with personal life-impacting stories, helpful life hacks, timely inspiration, biblical insight, and a fresh perspective. The Encouragement for Real Life podcast equips you to be a light in this world and to shine bright wherever God has you. I'm glad you're here today. Well, welcome back today. I am so glad you are here. Today is our guest episode for the month, and joining me is none other than the one who made me a mama first, my daughter, Alissa Studt. Alissa is strongly independent, kind of like her mom, and she has a generous and kind soul. She's so kind, and she's an amazing mom and wife, and she is a creative and wise businesswoman. She just does so many amazing things, and I just am in awe of what God is doing through her life. I'm grateful that we live within 20 minutes of each other and that she gives me the opportunity to hang out with her two boys, my grandsons, 2 days a week. What a gift that is. In this episode, we discuss so much, including real life challenges and blessings, some advice that she would give her younger self, which even kind of brought some tears, and just some fun that we had together. It was just a great time together, and I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. Alissa's words will encourage you and will inspire you today, and I'd say that you're going to be glad that you're listening in. So, without further delay, let's get into this episode. Well, joining me today on the podcast, I'm so excited, is Alissa Studt, who's also known as, well, she's not really known as, but who's also my daughter. So welcome, Alissa. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yay. Well, Alissa joined the podcast a year ago, and I have to say the day that we're recording this today is actually the day, it was my due date with her. And it's just so fun that you're able to be here on my actual due date when I was expecting Alissa. So she was born 10 days later, but sorry. I don't think that they would let that fly today. But anyway, it's exciting to have her here so many years later. We're here together, sitting and enjoying each other's company and just having a great conversation. So we're glad that you are here too. So Alissa, tell us who you are. Tell us about you, who you are, what you do, what you're passionate about, and just your life.
I am a mother, a wife. I have two cute little boys that are 2 and 4, a husband of, it'll be 7 years this year, 6.5 so far. And I own a balloon company. We decorate for like parties and stuff. Have fun doing that. I went full-time with that a little over a year ago, so I am able to spend time with my kiddos while they're young. So
yeah, great. Mm-hmm. Awesome. What are you passionate about? What's the thing that you're most?
I would have to say momming. I think we all have to be passionate about that if we're going to do it. Yeah.
Being a mom?
Yes.
Yeah.
And just trying to take care of myself and prioritize family.
Yeah, you do that well.
Thank you.
You do all of that well.
Thanks.
Yeah. And she just came in the door now from a balloon install. And so we want to hear more about that in a minute, more about her balloons and her business. So yeah, she's got a lot going on. And usually when she's doing balloons, either her husband or I'm watching the boys, but today someone else is watching.
Yes.
Yeah. Your aunt. Their great aunt.
Yeah.
So, and uncle.
Yes.
So anyway, you joined me on the podcast a year ago. I think it was a year ago this month. Mm-hmm. And you had just quit your full-time job.
Yep.
You were excited. You were nervous. You did this to be a stay-at-home mom and with your boys and to pursue your balloon business full time.
Mm-hmm.
We want to hear about your balloon business. And what is the biggest lesson do you think that God has taught you over these last 12 months? So tell us about your balloon business and then the lesson.
So we do pretty much anything with balloons, like the traditional, what most people call like a balloon arch or like a half arch. We call it balloon garland, but it's interchangeable. That's probably the most popular thing that people request us for. We have helium, we can deliver, you can pick up. Just kind of, if you have an idea that involves balloons, we can help you out. And been doing that for a little over 4 years, and then like we said, a little over 1 full year of being full-time with that. So I would have to say the biggest thing God has taught me the last 12 months, it's been more like the last 6-7 months. I quit my job at like where peak season would begin, so like anticipation for that, so I knew that some good solid months would be coming from that work-wise. But then winter came around and was slower than my previous winter, so trust was something that I had to really lean on God, trusting Him, trusting that He would provide for our family, and He continued to do so. And in January I chose abundance as my word for the year, and I was like, sweet, this is gonna be great, like we're gonna be raking in the money, it's gonna just be falling from the sky. And I've actually paid myself like half of what I would have made at my corporate job the first 5 months of the year, probably even less than half. But I think we've saved more this last 5 months than we did the first 5 months of last year. And that's where that abundance, it's the mindset shift of kind of making lemonade out of lemons, or like just, I think of like Jesus feeding the 5,000. So yeah, just making do with what you have and or what you're given. And that's, trusting that He'll provide.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. So there's been so many people that I have, well, when I share on social media your creations, so many people say, oh my gosh, how does she make up this stuff? How does she do this stuff? And one of the last ones that I saw and someone else commented on was the one at the country club. And oh my gosh, she made these flowers out of balloons.
That was fun.
So if someone wanted to see what you do, where would they find you?
Oh, I have a website, blissballoonco.com. That would be the main route that shows kind of pictures of all things I've done in the different categories: birthdays, corporate, pickup stuff, the smaller, more simple things. Or we're on Instagram and Facebook as well at Bliss Balloons with a plural, Balloons Co. Is our handles for both Instagram and Facebook.
I will link those in the show notes, but I just think you just do an amazing job. I may be partial, but I don't think I am. I think everybody else says too that you do an amazing job. So it's just fun to see how your brain is wired and how you create these beautiful things. And I think I said probably last year too, you always had this mentality to, you always want to own your own business. And I remember you were thinking about making dog treats, and you were at some point thinking about, I don't even remember what else it was. You had lots of different ideas. And so I just love how God directed you to this. And I share about it in my book, Right Now Matters, of how God really just directed you down your path of, first of all, finding your husband, of the world that you were in corporate America, in, that part of the world, and now your business. It's just, so God is so evident. His fingerprints are all over your life and what you do. So I just love to watch you. So speaking of God and our faith, what do you do? How do you invite God into your life during the day? Or what do you do to grow your faith in God? Because I know it's like with 2 little boys, only I had a little boy and a little girl, but tell us what you do. How do you involve God?
I'm definitely not perfect, but I love my Christian music. Whenever I can have that on, I do. I try to carve out some time in the morning to talk to God, either whether that's on a walk or a workout, play Christian music, talk to God, just kind of get my mind right for the day. Pray. Lots of that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can never pray enough, or just have those conversations, and teaching our boys about God. Yeah, it's fun hearing things come from them, you know.
Yeah, and it was fun to go to church together on Mother's Day.
Yes, yeah.
It was fun to watch the little, I would say ours, because I feel like he's partly mine, even though he's not mine. But
Yes.
the 4-year-old who led us into church and into the seat that they sit in, and it was just, that was just kind of fun to watch
Yeah,
him just
he knew exactly where he was going.
march in there and march down his little, the little aisle, and he knew where he was going. That's so cool, and it's so important. I just remember the moment that we were sitting in your doorway of your room when you were a little girl.
I thought it was Zach's room.
I thought it was your room.
No, because it was over on the left.
I think it was your room.
Really?
I do. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Huh.
But how you both, you wanted to make the decision to follow Jesus, and you were, I don't know, 7, 6.
Was it before we moved?
We were here.
Oh, I
You were
remember
here.
one night at the old house, too.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you remember that night?
But that was in Zach's room. I was sitting next to the dresser.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was your night.
Yeah, maybe memory serves me wrong, or that was just a...
And maybe Zach's was here, the one that I
Maybe we got in
remember.
trouble, and that's why I remember. I don't know. Something important happened that night. But yeah.
Yeah, and I just think it's just so important. You're instilling those values in your boys.
Yeah.
You know that proverb says, teach a child in the way that they should go, and they will not depart from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. I'm very thankful for all that you did and my
Uh-huh.
upbringing to be able to then also share that with my kiddos.
yeah. Train a child in the way they should go. I knew teach didn't sound right. Train a child. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's just going to be so valuable for them all the rest of their lives. So good job, Mama.
Thanks.
The theme on the podcast this month has been a real fun one, and it's a growing one for me, and I always love to think about it, but about blooming where we're planted, and that's the theme this month. So what have been some challenge? I mean, I know it may look to others that you have a perfect life with your balloon business and your cute kids and your handsome husband, and you have a nice house, and you just gotta, all these things that are really nice. But not that we want to focus on the challenges, but sometimes it's good to know that someone else is challenged too sometimes. So what have been some challenges in blooming where God has you in your life right now?
Yeah. Gosh. I mean, I feel like every day there's a new challenge, whether it be big or small. And, everyone has challenges, different sizes, and what mine might be, someone would never have a challenge that small. They've always had bigger challenges, or vice versa. Just like we just got a newer vehicle because we had to. My car was pretty much totaled out. I was going to ride it till it died, and it died, essentially. And it was nice to have no payments for a little while, but it was not the time I wanted it to happen. I mean, it never does happen when it does. But I am excited for the newer vehicle. It has more space to fit more balloons, but everyone just sees a new vehicle. They don't know it's got more miles on it than it should. That's why we were able to afford it. There's little things that you look from the outside and you're like, oh my gosh, that's almost brand new vehicle. Like, it's a year old. But it'll probably die quicker than a newer vehicle that has less miles because it was a rental. So that's how we were able to afford it, was a little higher mileage to have that bigger space. So it just, you never know the background story that kind of bring people back down to being a real person.
Yeah.
Like grandma passing away, that was a huge challenge. I went and did an install a half hour before, finished an install and not even an hour before the visitation started. Had to sprint home 15 minutes away, sprint back into town to get dressed, and you just gotta roll with the punches, I feel like, and not having that armor up, but sometimes it's good to have that armor up just to kind of block it and then deal with it later.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also the armor of God,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
you walk in that every day. And that was a challenging. That was really just a couple months ago when Bill's mom passed away. I mean, kind of unexpectedly. And I think I did talk about it on the podcast in an earlier episode, but that was a challenge for all of us. And watching you put your business on hold that weekend, and you were there for family, and you just showed up. Even in your own grief, you showed up for other people, and you did that really well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to explain. I don't know. It's hard to explain to little ones death and grief. They don't really understand that, but I think they understand more than I realize sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. We were just talking about her the other day, and Nolan mentioned, well, she's not alive anymore. And I said, I know. Yeah, she's up in heaven with God.
yeah,
Yeah. They remember.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so life is not perfect for any of us, and wherever God has us, He wants us to bloom. And I just think of friends that are walking through cancer, or friends that are dealing with situations with loved ones, and God just wants us to bloom right where we are, and you do that really well, and you make it look simple. You do, but sometimes it is good to remember that all of us have challenges.
Tears are shed in the background.
Mm-hmm. Behind closed doors sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or in the bathtub or in the shower.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can always go to God with those.
Mm-hmm.
So what have been some of the blessings in the season that God has you in right now?
The blessings would be for sure the boys, being able to be home with them. I won't take that for granted. Wish I would have done it a little sooner than what I did, but hindsight's 2020. You're nervous about taking the leap, so you hold on a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
At least that was my mentality anyway. Yeah, just being present, being there.
Yeah.
I've structured my business a little bit differently this last year-ish, and it's allowed me some more free times on the weekends than what I would have had. So I'm still have installs on the weekends, but I'm not booked back to back to back. So that's been very nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. I'm sure Morgan likes having you home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With a meal as soon as he walks in the door? No.
Yes, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm
Do you
able
do
to.
that?
I'm able to most nights because,
That's awesome.
we're home all day.
Yeah.
Or, there's time to put something together quick rather than rushing to go pick up the boys to then rush home to get dinner made. So, yeah, that's been very nice to be able to have slow evenings rather than feeling rushed.
Yeah.
Dinner, bath, bed. So, it's definitely a little slower. We can take a bath in the morning. Well, probably not in the summer. We were able to in the winter, but now we spend all day outside pretty much. So
Thankful for bath time.
yes.
Mm-hmm. So I forgot that your word for this year was abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So what does abundant life? I'm big about living an abundant life. So what does an abundant life look like for you right now?
Yeah. I feel like the last question about blooming with the challenges, it was hard for me to come up with ideas at first, was because I guess I don't really necessarily see them as challenges. It's just switching that perspective to the positive outlook. Obviously there's not a lot of positive when someone passes away, but I mean there is still. It was a hard year for Grandma.
Yeah.
Year plus. So, knowing that. So, trying to, switch the perspective, or it's even if, I don't want to say have to lie to yourself, but, make yourself believe that it's, I don't know, it's like the rose-colored glasses, Sometimes you just have to make it feel better than what it is, and then that will also come with just having that perspective switch. It's just kind of, I don't really want to say faking it till you make it, but it kind of is, to be able to get to where you are thinking the positives and feeling that abundance.
But having that mindset shift too.
Yeah.
The more you do that, the more positive of an outlook that we have. That we don't go down this rabbit hole of woe is me. And
Yeah. I know there's, yeah, you can definitely kind of point out the people in life. Once you've had that mindset shift, you're like, whoa, that's, yeah, they've got their brain on the negative. I feel like once you do kind of get that, you're able to get that perspective switch to where your life is abundant. You are living an abundant life. You can really, I don't know, live life. I don't know. I feel like that sounds silly, but like it's the simple things that make you feel like you've got more than what you do. I don't know. Yeah, it's just,
yeah.
I don't know.
Appreciating the little
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's those small, like I think I might have said this in the podcast last year, but like praising God for a good parking spot. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
you've got a good life. It's, yeah, it just.
Mm-hmm. It's appreciating all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not only that, but it also then your boys pick up that. And, first of all, how our thoughts just determine so much of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
of even our actions, our attitudes, our behaviors, and then it affects other people. And then it's kind of a ripple effect, and they're affecting other people. And,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, at my old job, there was a term of like calling people higher. Like, if there was negative speaking or, grumbling about something, like calling them higher to kind of switch out of that. Like, hey, that's not something we should be doing. Or like, oh, think about it this way.
Yeah.
Just that kind of nonchalant calling people higher to switch out of that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. If you could go back and encourage your younger self, what would you say to her?
Oh, gosh.
I know that younger self really well, but you know her better.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Some days I feel like she's a stranger sometimes. You forget.
Yeah.
Feels like a long time ago.
Yeah.
I would say to be you. I'm gonna get emotional.
Oh. Okay, I got the Kleenex.
Oh, I'm okay. But really, like,
Here you go.
I did not plan on that.
I don't mean to laugh, but
no,
sometimes questions do that. So what do you mean by be you?
I would say to be authentic. I feel like growing up, you're pressured to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And so just be you and who God made you to be.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good one for all of us, even now, even today, at our age, no matter what age we're at, to be you. Yeah. Because the world wants us to be something else, but God wants us to be who He created us to be.
Yes.
So I'm sorry you're getting teary-eyed.
Yeah.
But yeah. And I think you should give yourself some credit too. You were yourself. Yeah, there was friends that influenced you, but you still lived a different way than some of your other friends, some of your high school friends. And yeah, you had unique gifts and talents. And, it's funny to see, there's been times when you and I have been out, like even doing balloon installs, and I remember we ran into an old high school classmate of yours, and I just thought, wow, look at where you are and what you're doing. And it doesn't even have to be about that, but that you've just been following God, and it was just night and day difference. I could just see the light coming from you, and I really couldn't see much light coming from the other person. You can see when someone has just this light glowing inside. And so yeah, you are being you, and you realize that sooner than what many people realize that that's important. So I'll change the subject so you can quit crying.
Thank you. Don't know why I got so emotional.
That's okay. That's all right. I think this is always interesting. What is something that you wish women my age knew about women your age, or even moms, or any of the realm type of things about women your age? What would that be?
I'm gonna go with something funny here. I would say that we do know how to parent, even though we might not put socks on our babies. I promise they will survive. Both of mine did.
You put socks on. Oh, when?
They kick them off.
Oh,
You can only try so many times. When they're like in their car seats, when they're little.
I still kick him off. He's 2 years old.
I
He's
know,
still ripping off his
but
socks.
yeah, I feel like that's just like the grandma thing or great grandma thing to give heck when there's no hat or no socks.
Yeah, and we were taught that we had to have a onesie on the baby, and so when I was trying to tell you to put onesie on Nolan, you were like, no. What?
Just put the clothes on.
And I remember Bill's grandma, when we lived next door to her, I used to take you outside, and it would be a kind of a breezy day, and she said, you need to have a bonnet on her head or a hat on her head.
Yeah, that's what
her ears.
My thought came from.
Yeah,
so.
And it's like, the generational thing of how to raise kids. Yeah, I just thought those kids are going to be sick all the time because they didn't have socks on. No. Yeah, so that's really good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Something lighthearted.
Yeah.
I guess I can't really think of anything else that would be more serious, I guess. But
I would say if we switched it,
vice versa.
I would want women your age to not discount women my age. Yeah, just because we are in an older generation, I think sometimes I think, and I don't think everybody does this, but I think sometimes the younger generation can just not think that we have value or worth or I don't know, that we don't have much to offer anymore. And not everybody, you don't do that.
I was going to say, I think quite the opposite. There's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. I mean, in this season of life that I'm in, I feel like I am like in the zone where I still have enough energy to do all the things I want to do. And I've had a lot of experiences in life and a lot of wisdom from those experiences that I just feel like this is like really good age right now. Wait till you get here. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Not ready for the kids to grow up yet. But
no, my gosh.
It'll come sooner than later.
I looked at that little 4-year-old and I just thought, he looks like he's 7.
Oh, yeah.
The other day. Breaks my heart.
Yeah.
And then I sent you that picture. I sent to our group family chat last night of a little picture of Nolan when he was just a few months old, and just breaks my heart. They grow so fast.
Yes.
So on that, thinking about our mother-daughter relationship, I think we have a pretty good relationship. But what's one thing do you say that you and I have done well in keeping our relationship growing?
We see each other quite frequently.
We do.
Which is nice.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
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 Anything else besides that? Because that's kind of a given for us. But what if another mom and daughter have, listening, or mom or daughter, and they want to better their relationship with the other? What would be something that we could suggest to do? Well, see each other or communicate with each other.
I would say, communicate if you can't see each other.
Yeah.
We're good at texting.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending me all your birthday gift ideas, too.
Oh, yeah.
I love hearing from her. And sometimes, we just get tied up in our own stuff during the day and we forget to text, but yeah.
It's always a text coming in at like 9:30 or 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Or first thing in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. What's something that we could do better to grow our relationship?
I would say maybe like carve out specific time to spend together. Like even though we do get to see each other, we're usually with the boys. So like attention's on them. Yes, we do have conversations. But it would be maybe spending more time just specifically just the two of us.
Yeah. I love it when we get to do that.
Me too.
And that's why I like it when you involve me in your balloon installs, because I know it's just good. I know I'm tying balloons and she's arranging them and I'm blowing them up on the machine, but it's our time that we get to be together. And then we usually do coffee or lunch after or before or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Good. So this has been so fun. I am just grateful that you are willing to just be in my life still, and that you are here today to be able just to share your wisdom and your knowledge and your expertise with others, and also just to spend time with me. I love that. And is there, I know I didn't ask you this, but is there one last thing that you could encourage someone with today? A closing thought?
Yeah. Get up 15 minutes earlier.
Ooh, to do what?
To have you time, God time. Whatever you need. Make a cup of coffee.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
I love it.
And if you need to, do it in 5-minute increments. Start 5 minutes earlier until you get your 15 or until you get a half hour. Go on a walk. It's nice out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us here today, and thank you for being here. I love you so much.
Love you.
All right. Thanks for joining us. Gosh, I love that girl. And I am so grateful for the relationship that we share. And, I got to thinking, if you are wanting to grow your relationship, say with your mom or your son or your daughter, may I encourage you in this today? Friend, I know relationships can be tricky, but when we invite God into them, something can happen that wouldn't otherwise happen without him involved. And so I'm gonna encourage you to pray and ask God to show you what you can do on your end to build that relationship with your children, grown or not, son or daughter, doesn't matter. But God knows what they need, and he knows what you need. And when we involve him, he will bring some things to light maybe that wouldn't already happen. And so, friend, he's not going to steer you wrong. And I think God wants all of us to have good relationships with those that we're related to, that are in our family and in our lives. And so I'm going to encourage you today just to take one step in this today and ask God what that might be. But about this episode, what encouraged you the most in our conversation and with what Alissa shared? And how will you begin to apply it to your life today? And will you take Alissa's suggestion of getting up 15 minutes earlier for some dedicated, what she said, me time or God time? Just something so simple, getting up 15 minutes early, maybe 5 minutes one day, and then another 5 minutes earlier the next day, and another 5 minutes the next day to make it to 15. But that's just some dedicated time that we can have with just maybe some quiet time. And if you're struggling in spending time with God or just having some peace and quiet in the morning, that's a great idea. So I'm doing this. I hope that maybe you'll do that too. But you can find out more about Alissa and her balloons in the links in the show notes. And if you're looking for more encouragement and support as you continue blooming in your own life, as we wrap up this series with this episode, I would love to walk alongside of you. You can always find my books, Right Now Matters and the Right Now Matters Bible Study, the mentoring opportunities, and other free resources over on my website at julielefebvre.com. You'll find the links to all these things in the show notes. Friend, you don't have to walk this journey alone. I would be honored to walk with you. And if you live close to me, I invite you to our next Women's Evening of Encouragement in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's going to be on Thursday, June 5th from 6 to 8 p.m. at a place for friends in Cedar Rapids. And it's titled The Life You Long For, Living Fully in the Here and Now. You do not have to wait for the perfect moment to live the life that God has for you. We'll discover how to live fully, freely, and joyfully right where we are. Now, the catch is there's only 25 seats available. So tickets are $25 and you can find them on my website, and the link to that is in the show notes also. Now, one big thing before we wrap up today, I want to give you a quick heads up about next week's episode. I'm so excited. Did you catch that this week's episode is $199? So next week is a big one. It's the 200th episode of the Encouragement for Real Life podcast. I can hardly believe it. It's the first time I've really said that out loud. And I honestly would not be here without you, my faithful listener. So next week, I'm doing something a little different. I'm looking back, I'm sharing some lessons I've learned, and I'm celebrating God's faithfulness in this journey. I've even got a fun giveaway planned just to say thank you. So be sure to tune in next Tuesday. You won't want to miss it. It's going to be so much fun. But thanks for being here today. I appreciate you, and just know that I am cheering you on. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. You can find more at julielefebure.com. And until next time, stay encouraged.